All right, well, in the Nasrec Media Centre, that's where we are broadcasting from. We've also got a hive of activity happening, both local and international broadcasters, press, media, all gathering here to report on the outcomes and the entire session. So let's cross over to Sherwin Bryce-Pease, who is on the floor behind us, to get an update, just to understand how things are. I know it's a very tricky process getting in here, Sherwin, I must say. The security is incredibly tight, whether or not you are accredited or not, and I know that you went through that, but it certainly is very, very hard lockdown, and certainly at 7 o'clock, forget about even trying to get in here.
Absolutely right, Leanne. A little tricky getting in this morning, but we're in, and you can turn around and wave at me. Why not do that?
Oh, well, there
they
you
are, folks. That's our studio here at the Nasrec Expo Center on a day that all the I's need to be dotted and the T's crossed, right? This is the day, this is the game day for South Africa's diplomatic muscle that has worked now for over a year to get to this point, a climax, apex moment with all the heads of state and government and the leaders representing the G20 countries and the invited guests inside the arena, essentially, and a lot expected today on the first day of this two-day summit. You mentioned, of course, Sakina and Leanne, the doubts around whether an outcome document might be adopted by leaders. We know that football now has been handed to the Leaders Summit by the Sherpa negotiations that have gone through the nights over the last few days to get to a point where leaders now either adopt something, either have broad consensus, maybe with an appendix that the United States does not acquiesce to that agreement, but certainly there might be a majority at play in terms of the road forward for this G20 and what the implementation looks like in terms of what they agree to. Let me give you a quick rundown of what we expect today. Heads of state and government will arrive here at Nasrec between 8:30 and 9:30 South African time this morning. Then at around 10 o'clock this morning, the president of the G20 president and South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, will open the event. Then Leanne and Sakina, they'll go into a closed session, the first session that deals with inclusive and sustainable economic growth, leaving no one behind, building on economies, the role of trade. Isn't that a big topic, given the presidency of Donald Trump and all the people in the room that might have been affected by those reciprocal tariffs and the meaning of multilateralism in that context, financing for development and the debt burden. We had a conversation yesterday with the UN Secretary General, an exclusive on SABC News, and critical to moving this agenda forward is going to be financing, the role of multilateral banks. A word you'll hear probably a lot today is something called concessional financing, essentially money that doesn't cost too much for people that have for countries that have high debt burdens. And also hear from the Africa Expert Panel, the Extraordinary Committee on Independent Experts on Global Wealth Inequality. So that very much a forward-looking focus here. They'll have a break from 2 to 3 and then go to a closed session, a resilient world, the G20's contribution, disaster risk reduction, climate change, just energy transition and food systems. And as you know, the posture of this presidency has been very development focused. The G20 historically known for global cooperation around economy stability, market stability, macroeconomic stability. And what you've seen over the last 4 presidencies, starting in Indonesia, India, Brazil, and South Africa, the presidencies of the global south in the G20, a focus on development, because there's a recognition, a growing recognition, that market stability doesn't deal with poverty, market stability doesn't necessarily deal with food systems, market stability doesn't need deal with climate change and the just transition that is central to a sustainable developing world. So lots on the table. The journalists are here, the diplomats are here, the security apparatus is here. Now we just need to get to the nuts and bolts of what we've all been building up to over the last year.
Indeed, Sherwin, and that's really what this is all about. I mean, there's been impeccable work that's been done behind the scenes, and we wait to see now in terms of when these leaders come together and the declaration adoption, because I think that's the moment that I think a lot of the world is waiting to see if it actually happens. So we'll keep waiting, we'll keep watching, and today an incredibly important day. That's Sherwin Bryce-Pease right behind us here on the floor in the media center.